Welcome, welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Brett Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Brett Raven, 33-year veteran comic science fiction, fantasy, horror, role-playing games. My one co-host, the mascot, is in my lap. You gonna stand up and let everybody see you? You gonna let everybody see you? Here he is. Here's the Midnight Monster.
The Midnight Monster.
And of course, joining me at this time is the Great Pumpkin.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Come on in, take a load off, grab something cold to drink, and say hi.
Yeah. It's been kind of a sad week this week. On yesterday, I guess it was, we found out that the great Jim Shooter has passed away. The editor-in-chief of Marvel from 1978 to 1987, as well as a great writer starting back in the 60s when he was only 13 years old, writing stories for Legion of Superheroes. Also, after Marvel became multiple-time publisher for Valiant, Defiant. There was another one, Broadway Comics. And after those, he was still very present as a consultant in not just comics, but the book publishing industry, and revolving around graphic novels and sequential arts. So he was always a prominent figure in our industry since probably the late 60s. And while neither one of us actually worked with Jim, I don't know if you ever had a chance to meet him. Did you ever get a chance to meet him?
I never had a chance to meet him, but I have heard many stories about the great man.
Yeah. I came across him a few times in conventions over the years. Always very congenial. Maybe a little bit blunt at times, but definitely a person who always seemed to have his heart in the right place and always wanted to make comics a better place. And I think he achieved a great deal of that during his time, and he's going to be sorely missed.
He did. And, just take a moment and think, 13 years old, he started writing and drawing comics. What were you doing at 13 years old, guys? I mean, come on. I mean, you were outside, playing swords or playing war, or like in school learning like math. Like, what were you doing at 13? And this guy got hired like almost on the spot, right? Didn't he?
Not right on the spot. You got to remember that the person who hired him didn't realize he was that young.
Right.
Yeah. I think it was Mort Weisinger. Didn't realize he was that young. If he had known that, he probably wouldn't have hired him. As for answering your question, I was producing comic strips and other things professionally at 13 too.
Wow, you were a little bit more advanced than the rest of us.
but not at that level. It was more like local comic book, or the local newspapers and stuff like that.
Right.
Just doing little comic strips and stuff. But that's why I was smiling when you said that. You're like, well, but
yeah. Okay, you and Jim Shooter stand alone.
So, there's others like us out there. Actually, there were a lot of people in Shooter's era, right afterwards, that started in this business between 13 and 15. They just started in small press. In the underground scene, and people didn't realize it. They weren't discovered, so to speak, in a more wider array until they were older. But Jim was one of the first to actually get in at the corporate level. Let's put it that way. So young,
right?
So, he's one of the few, if only, ones to do that.
And he's brought. Oh, go ahead.
Passing along from and taking over Marvel as editor-in-chief from the great Archie Goodwin was an unenviable task, to say the least, because Archie was beloved.
Right.
And Jim well, as many people have said in the last 24 to 48 hours, was a very controversial person.
He had a very different management style.
I don't want to say about a different management style, but he is very complex. And a lot of times, he wanted to do things to fix problems that were there, but a lot of people just didn't realize were there. And once it was fixed, well, we need to do more. Well, no, it got to the point where he got burned, I guess. And I say burned, I don't mean John burned.
That should be a thing. Why isn't that a thing? You've been burned.
Actually, it is a thing, but
it is.
But anyway, oh man, it's more that, like John Byrne actually said, they needed to switch Jim over to DC and bring over Dick Giordano to Marvel. Just make him switch over places.
Just flip flop.
Yeah, seriously, because it was more like Marvel needed someone who could just like keep things balanced at the time instead of always trying to redo everything. Or going with the death ray, as John put it.
Right.
Whereas DC needed that in the 70s. That's part of why they had their problems, which, of course, Jeanette Kahn did and Paul Levis did come in and fix in the late 70s, early 80s as well. But, there's a lot of things that Jim did. And I think a lot of reasons that people had resentment towards Jim was because Jim got a lot of credit for things that he took credit for, and it was perceived that he was taking for it for himself. He wasn't, though. He was taking credit for it as we, the company, Marvel, which
Right.
been all the other people, all the other editors, that he couldn't have done what he did without them. People like Denny O'Neil and Mike Carlin and, Louise Simonson when she was Louise Jones.
Right.
Carl Potts, Archie Goodwin again, all these people that were prevalent. And I think some of those people thought he was taking it all for himself, but he really wasn't meaning to. But it may have come across that way, the way it was presented in the media. And it was very hard for it not to be perceived that way because in a lot of ways, Jim became the figurehead of the company the way Stan Lee was before him.
Right.
And, that was another thing I think people resented him for because Archie didn't do that. And Roy Thomas did, but didn't do that when Roy was the editor-in-chief before Archie.
Right.
But, that was kind of the thing. And, once Shooter was gone, the Falco tried, but nobody really liked Tom that much. I'm sorry. Harris tried. You saw what happened in the 80s and 90s. They went to bankruptcy.
Right.
And then it became Dishonest Company, more or less, in the late 90s, early 2000s, until he left recently. So, it's that kind of a thing. When you have a figurehead of power like that, whether they're creatively sound or whether they're business savvy or whatever, you can get resentment of that because the more you're in power, you have to accommodate for who you got working in the company.
Right.
But you also have to accommodate for your stockholders. You have to accommodate for all these other aspects. And it's a very difficult and delicate balancing act.
It is.
That most people really don't understand unless you've been there.
Right.
And I think more people now that Jim, not that Jim is gone, but people understood it more after Jim left Marvel, I think, because they saw him do similar things elsewhere. And they could say, okay, well, this is where he didn't succeed in these other companies and why. Because he didn't have the same personnel.
Right.
Or because he didn't have the same infrastructure that Marvel did at the time. So you can understand that more. And it's like, yeah, okay. So I think that's why a lot of people kind of underappreciated him at times and resented him in ways that they probably shouldn't have. But that being said, I think in more recent years, he became more appreciated and more beloved.
Right. And let's be honest. I mean, Stan Lee and the other editors before Jim, uh, they had a friendly, congenial look to them, and Jim just looked like a hard ass. He really did.
I don't know if he looked like a hard ass, but I mean, yes,
Jim looked like he was going to take you out back and beat your ass for your candy.
I don't know about that. I mean, he's tall, yes, and the height intimidates the heck out of you. I'll agree with you. He didn't necessarily have the best visage because of the acne that kind of gave him the pitted scars in the cheeks and stuff. But I don't know. The Jim I met never came across to me that way.
No, not come across like he looked badass. Like he looked like he was going to beat your ass.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's because I just didn't look. I was too naive when I first started and I met him, but that was the kind of thing there. But, he was intimidating because of that 6'7", 6'8" height. And
Yep.
Yeah, I don't care how tall you are, you're looking up to the guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was part of it. But we're gonna miss him, and I hope that. I know we've seen a lot of wonderful conversations online about him from
absolutely
him and people who really miss that era of Marvel and consider that the last good era of Marvel. And I'm certainly one of them. But I kind of have to look at it as it was a time where certain people were there and not just Jim. But
right.
He just happened to be the one who was both savvy enough and fortunate enough to have that talent roster of editors and creative talent in that era. And that's never going to be duplicated again. And so, hats off to him, and we wish his family and his friends all the best.
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is Diamond updates.
The great Diamond debacle.
Oh, yes. It has been revealed from Fantagraphics that Diamond owes them upwards of 7 figures of unpaid for stock. That is amongst the content that Diamond is now trying to claim as content they can sell to pay off their debt to Chase for the money that they got loans for to operate out of the bankruptcy. This is just one company out of dozens that is owed 6 to 7 figures per company. That Diamond is now withholding the content and saying it's theirs. It's not theirs. It's what is called consignment. And if you haven't paid for it completely, you're just a temporary party representing the actual owner. And
they're basically just holding it for the actual owner.
Right. And there's going to be a major problem. And there's people looking at major lawsuits. Whether it's going to be class action or not, there's been talk about it, but who do you sue? Because that's where the difficulty comes in, because how much of this is now old Diamond versus new Diamond? Who actually holds what stock where? All kinds of things is being trying to figure out where the actual books are and who owns it. Technically, it should be all of New Diamond's property if they bought the debt and bought the company.
Right.
So it's a little bit, everything's a little bit confusing as for that. And I don't know. We've seen numerous parties that are going to probably end up going out of business in the next 18 to 24 months because of this. I don't want to say names because I'm hoping that there will be some sort of resolution where these companies will get paid, at least in part, enough to keep themselves functioning and sustain them while they move over to the other distributors. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen, unfortunately. And I don't know if a court is really going to help or hinder that process, because most courts are going to go by letter of the law, number one, and they're also going to go with the primary source of who Old Diamond has to pay is whoever owns the most debt, which would be Chase. So, either way, it looks like there's going to be a whole lot of people getting screwed. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that there's some sort of resolution, some sort of light at the end of the tunnel.
So basically, this is it's like this. It's like if you lent. It's like if you asked your Uncle Larry, like, "Hey, Uncle Larry, you got space in your attic? Can I keep my comic book collection in your attic?" "Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, you can keep it up there." And then, like 2 years later, you come back to get your comic collection and find out that your Uncle Larry has sold your comic collection to pay off his loan shark.
Right. That's basically the gist. Yes. That would be that's a really good analogy, actually. Good job. I don't know about the loan shark, but certainly to pay off the debt for other things. But anyway,
right.
Yeah. I'm going to sue you, Uncle Larry.
Yeah, and then you turn around, you sue your Uncle Larry. Yeah.
But yeah, all right. At least you called him Uncle Larry and not Uncle Steve. Oh man. But yeah. So anyway, lots of sadness on those two fronts. So let's try and get into something a little more positive. Do you want to go with what's cool in crowdfunding this week, or do you want to do unboxing first?
I think we should go with what's cool in crowdfunding this week.
Okay. Let's see what we got. We have Meow the Infinite Book 3 with 17 hours to go. As you can see, I backed it. I got issue number 3. You can get all 3 volumes. Let me get this over here. There we go. For those who don't know what this is about, outer space.
I'm loving the artwork. That's really cool.
Look at that.
Meow the Infinite is a graphic novel trilogy. For me, it's sort of like a story for my 12-year-old self. It's about stories. I was always writing stories. I had this like one epic sort of story that I had going in like multiple notebooks. So it's like, it feels very personal in that way. It's totally all ages appropriate, but the story has a lot more emotion and heart than probably people would be expecting from the beginning, we've sort of decided that we're going to tell the story the way that it wants to be told. And so it kind of kept pushing us to make it longer. And we listened. We listened to what the story was telling us and what it needed to be the best that it could be. And so book 3 ended up being 370 pages. So it's a really big book. There's a lot in there, but we're really happy with how it's turned out. We've gone to multiple Comic-Cons. We've been to Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle twice. And the number of families who come up to us, like really excited, it's been like a really awesome experience. We've had cosplayers, we've seen fan art, which is not something I ever expected. The number of people who have come up at cons requesting book 3 is like, it's so many. And I feel bad, but finally it's coming out. So if you've been patiently waiting for the last, 3 years since book 2, I'm sorry for the wait, but I really hope that you'll like what we've done with book 3.
I think people will.
Absolutely. This looks like a fantastic book. My only suggestion is if you do happen to watch this, keep your Kickstarter videos to a minute or maybe a little over, because otherwise people will tune out.
Yeah. Well, the video was a minute, and then the talk was a minute.
Right. Well, it was a 3-minute long video, so that's a little much.
Yeah.
But fantastic looking stuff.
Oh yeah. And I have the first 2. I haven't reviewed them. I'm waiting to get this 3rd issue, and I'm going to review all 3 as one big set.
Very cool.
You see, I got the book 3 for $25. Again, it's a 370-page book, so it's worth $25.
Oh hell yeah!
And your dog is like letting us know. Hey,
yeah, she is. She is.
But you can get book 1 for $25. You can get a signed book 2 for $30. You can get 2 books 2 and 3 for $50. There's a way to get the trilogy for all 3 for $70, which is really an affordable thing. When you think about each one of them was costing $25 to $30 a book, for $70 for all 3 is a good deal. If I didn't already have book 1 and 2, I would have got the trilogy bundle. And people are asking me, where's the link? Just a second.
There we go.
So, yeah, I'm definitely recommending this one. I have looked at the first 2. It's really fun. Perfect for, really, I would say, she said for her 12-year-old self. I think someone 9 or 10 could even get into it pretty well.
I would say so.
Well, there are little themes that are a little bit more mature, but I look at it as, I know what I was reading at 9 or 10 years old. So,
Yeah, it depends on the 9 or 10-year-old.
Right. But you're talking about basically 3 books over 750 pages of story. So I think that's certainly worth your money.
I mean, I was reading Greek mythology at 9 and 10, so.
Exactly. Here's some of the interior story.
Yeah, and I love that almost animated style to the art.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool.
But yeah, I just think it's hilarious that people are not talking more about this on other social media.
It's doing quite well, though.
Oh yeah, it is.
So somebody's talking about it.
Yeah.
I like how she says the book is rated PG.
If it's a movie, it would be rated PG.
Yeah, but are we talking 80s PG or are we talking 2025 PG? Because those are two very different things.
Let's talk about 80s PG because look at what she's comparing it to: Indiana Jones, Star Wars, E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Well,
she's talking about that kind of PG.
80s PG was like showed things that like 2025 PG would never show.
I think so because, I mean, 2025 is like we don't show nothing. We're prudes,
Right? Exactly.
or we're all out. It's one or the other. There's no in between.
Yep.
Oh man. But yeah, you can get a coloring book PDF. You can get a pack. There's a PDF with art, which features your process, concept art, and layouts. Over 60 pages of that, so you can see some really cool stuff.
Yeah, the coloring book would be really cool.
So there's a lot of cool things. Again, they've got the stretch marks for a lot of stuff. They've already got to the enamel pin. They're almost to the 40,000, I think, for the signed print, which is included in all physical tiers of goods. And they're like 2,000 short, 1,500 short of the 40,000. They might make it even. Have to wait and see, but I definitely recommend that. Okay, let's go ahead and go on to our next one, which I need to get to you. This is what I think something that Chris would like. Hold on a second. My computer is doing something stupid. You always want to do something stupid, but I'm not ready for it to do something stupid there.
As Raven's computer is known to do.
Yes.
To do.
Alrighty. Here's something that you're going to like.
Oh, I love the movie.
Deathgasm.
The movie is so great.
Deathgasm, the video game, graphic novel, and merchandise. It returns with full, all-new middle-fueled horror comedy in the official graphic novel, retro video game, and killer merch. 9 days to go. They're well past their goal with 245 backers. Let's see what they have to say. And that was a minute and a half.
But that's okay because this was badass, and I will be getting this graphic novel and soundtrack.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's find out how much that's going to cost you, my friend. Oh man. Deluxe is an 80-page signed graphic novel with a non-safe variant cover by Preston Acevedo, with your name credited. Okay. Let's see. Your name in the credits in blood. Oh, man. You gonna get the PC game too?
Maybe, but I definitely want the graphic novel and the soundtrack.
Yeah. The standard graphic novel hardcover is $50. The limited graphic novel, the deluxe bundle, is your graphic novel, the video game, the PDF, hardcover, slipcase, video game. Where's the album? Here we go.
Oh, it was up further.
No, here it is. The other was a PDF. This is the actual book, if you want the book.
Oh, gotcha.
This is the game soundtrack vinyl. So you get the book and the middle soundtrack on cassette or vinyl, either way.
Okay, very cool.
For $75, and the book was like $50 or $60. So you're getting a reasonable price, I would say. If you want the whole thing, that's a PDF bundle. Let's see what it costs. You get the PS5 bundle. You actually, the game is $90. You can get a mask. There's all kinds of cool stuff on this thing. How do I get everything?
Like I want the vinyl for the cool factor,
yeah.
But I also am gonna need like an MP3 so I can play it on my computer.
Yeah. You need to tell them that too. I want to play this on my computer, man.
Yeah, I definitely would need an MP3.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff here. Geez, everything is 1,000, but oh man, yeah, that's a cool thing. I'm going to go ahead and get up here at the top here and share that link. There you go.
Very cool.
So that's one that's down. Yeah, that's one that Chris wants.
This is really cool, and I love the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, I believe it's on. I think it's probably on Tubi. I think it's on Netflix. Like, go watch the movie. It's fantastic.
All right, let's see what else we got, because we got all kinds of cool stuff.
Well, I know of one really cool one that we should talk about.
And what is that?
Big Dog Inc.'s Penny for Your Soul, the latest.
Yes,
the latest book.
Yes, I'll get into that in just a second. I have not seen that. Oh, is it on Kickstarter or is it on?
It is. It is doing very well.
Okay, let me go back to Discover here. It didn't show up when I looked for it. I didn't know. So I was like, maybe it isn't on right now, for some reason. But let me go ahead and look that up again. Come on, you silly machine. It doesn't want to do nothing. Okay, there's that. Now, you were saying Penny for Your Soul.
Yep.
Penny for Your Soul. Is that the one?
It's the 7 Demons of Mary Magdalene.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me put that one up next. Because that's, and there's a reason why Chris wants that talked about.
Membership has its privileges.
There we go. Penny for Your Soul, 14 days to go, 12,452 after 5,000. Goal with 168 backers. Where were you when the horns trumpeted in the end of days? Funded in 90 minutes because it's Tom Hutchinson. he does pretty good. you make this video?
I did not.
Because he's starring in it. That's why he wanted it mentioned. I'm kind of kidding there.
JB Nito on pencils and me on colors. So, or I should say line art. JB is on. So,
yeah. So, lots of stuff here. JB Neto, Pedro Perez, Drax Dow, Steven Segovia, Marcelio Souza, Juan Jose Reed, Keith Garvey. So there's a lot of stuff. This is books that this is pages that Chris colored.
yes.
Interesting. I'm not a fan of that nose. But others, so far, it looks good. Digital is 13. The book is 40 pages. That's 15 for the logo edition.
I colored that one.
20 for the Magdalene prequel. This is a pinup book, I guess, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so there's stuff going on there. Fine art variant. Chris Hill. I think Chris Hill that's Chris Hall.
Yes.
Sometimes that happens. There's an I and an A, and it just gets mixed up. But anyway.
Well, that Chris Hill, he's a jerk anyway. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah. Lots of cool stuff to pick from. Again, JB Nello with Chris doing all the colors on all these different covers. So you can keep yourself busy on this, haven't you?
I only colored the one cover actually.
Oh, okay. Well, you're listed as colorist on all these things, but
maybe, just interiors.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. All right. Yeah, this one has like Steven Segovia's with colors by Nay. That makes sense. All right. All right. That makes more sense now. Okay. Let's go back to the top here. There you go. There's that one.
All right. There's your link, everybody.
It's definitely a more mature reader's content on this one.
Yes. Tom doesn't, he doesn't even apologize. He's just like, it is what it is. This is what sells.
Right. Okay. Let's see what else we've got, because there's quite a bit left to present. Here's another one that I think Chris will like. I Need Your Skin.
I like the art so far.
Yeah, let's see what it comes up with. It's got it's past its goal. They only wanted 1,000, which wasn't much. Got 90 backers with 21 days to go. Ooh, I couldn't read any of those names.
Nope. That looks pretty cool.
It looked cool. I just wish they had not like blinded out the names of the creators with that glow.
Right. Exactly. It was too quick.
Well, not only was it too quick, it was just the way it was lit was just it just blotched out all the names.
Yeah. A lot of times that red can just like you can't see it.
This is the company behind Grandma Chainsaw, Pocus Hocus, and Archetypes in Independent Geek Culture magazine. And yeah, it's interesting. This is something that probably was supposed to come out through. Oh shoot, I can't think of their name right now. Okay, it doesn't matter, but it's interesting.
I wonder if Alan Dunford is any relation to Matt Dunford.
Possibly. But yeah, I love the cover there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Both covers are actually really good.
And actually, I really love the Bignola-ish left cover there. Yeah.
The Kit Wallace cover, yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool. I love that cover.
All of them were really good covers. Yeah. Get all the standard covers, and they'll give you a foil cover free for $55.
One of these days, Lewis, you are going to have to explain to me how someone can produce a comic book for $2,000. Because I don't know how it's possible.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. The answer is it's not. They're putting their own money into it, and they're asking for a little more to get them over the top in most cases. And then if there's enough, they're hoping if by going low, they'll have a lot of people go, oh, that was really a good price, and we'll get them over the top, and then we'll just grow and grow and grow. And it doesn't happen all that often because not because the books aren't worthy of the support, but because the cost of the books, I mean, a digital is for $5 already, but digital looks $7. A $15 book is a $15 book. For $28 is just too much.
Right.
That's why it costs $15.
And how many total backers do they have?
90, I think. Yep.
Yeah. So for like almost $2,000.
Yeah. What they need is 2,000 backers, not 9. And it's not about this is what the thing about Kickstarter or any other thing. It's not about the dollars. It's about backer numbers, folks. We want to get backer numbers into the multiple thousands, tens of thousands. And it's very difficult to do because we can't go so low as to make books, quote unquote, affordable in a $2 to $3 range unless you hit a six-figure backer. What's the likelihood of you hitting a six-figure backer if you offer it at that price? Very minimal.
Yeah.
Because
what I'm thinking is they have to print and ship out 90 freaking books.
They're going to print. They're going to print a print run, not 90 books. And that print run is whatever that cost if they can for like maybe 500, 600,000 copies, whatever, ship the 90 and then get the remainder and sell that at stores or through conventions and stuff to make the money on it.
I still don't know how you do it for $2,000.
You don't really. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not, you're not making money. A lot of times you're losing money on it.
Yeah.
But this is what you kind of have to put up with, unfortunately. That's why the books are so expensive, though, in these things for like $15 a pop instead of like $4 or $5 a pop. Even though this book would probably potentially could sell 8,000 to 10,000 easily if it was put at a normal $4.99, $3.99 price point, and was coming out through a publisher that retailers actually acknowledged.
Right.
Maybe it would get picked up.
Yeah.
I could easily see this. I could literally see this coming out of Dark Horse and selling. I could see this coming out of Mad Cave and selling.
Oh, did you see Dave's comment?
No, I did not. Where did I miss?
David Campiti.
No, what are you talking about? Where?
He said, I'm so glad that all these talents get to put their work out there without getting into diamond being the threshold.
Ah, yeah. That's true. Yep. Yeah, they're paying $3 to $5 each to print and ship them as digital press printers. True. Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't showing up in my
on your comment section
until just then.
Okay.
But yeah, he's right.
Yep. Yeah, David knows.
Yep. Yes, exactly. That's it. And even if you had beyond the digital press printers, and could go to someone and get a bulk shipment, it still would be high, unfortunately.
Right.
Because you just don't have enough print run or demand to do a high enough print run to get the price down.
Exactly.
But I would certainly back this one. Whoops, it's not showing. There we go.
There we go. There's the link. Everybody jump on and back this book if it's to your taste. I'd like to see him. It would be nice to see him hit at least, $6,000.
Yeah. I mean, how many days they got left? 14? 21 days.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. So
yeah, I'm going to see if we can get these guys on and talk to them a bit more, because I really do like the concept, and I think the covers are really nice, and the interior art looks solid.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really digging this one.
I mean, maybe the color scheme could use a little work. It's a little bit too muted in a way, but
that's probably purposeful. I can see that, though.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing there.
Yeah, they're definitely going for an overall look.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also to help with cost of printing too.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Just make everything red.
Yep. But yeah, it's a really good story. And if you like Smile or The Substance, Nope, Get Out, stuff like that.
Yeah. So they're saying this is like a creepy body horror type book.
And you can there's hollow covers, there's metal covers, so there's all kinds of cool stuff to get. When you buy one copy, you can add a standard copy for half off. They offer other magazines as well. So, yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, very cool.
And you can also get a Batgirl bootleg fan fiction series. Well, I don't know if you want that, but it's different.
If you're into Batman fan fiction.
Yeah, but well, see, the thing I have with an issue with that is if it's fan fiction, especially when that looks, so close to Brian Boland from the Laughing Joke or Killing Joke, rather. I don't know. You're crossing the line there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would like to talk to them just to see why they decided to go that route.
Yeah. I would not have put that in my crowdfunding campaign. I just wouldn't have, because that's pushing beyond fan fiction. It's no longer fan fiction when you're trying to make money off your product.
Right.
So
well, I mean, there's fan fiction that did turn into actual. I mean, like Twilight was fan fiction when it first started out.
But it was still her own characters.
Yes, but it was based off of, I can't remember what it was based off of, but it was fan fiction.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I would definitely skip that and just stick with the main product.
Yep.
But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and put a remind me on this one. There we go. Oh.
Oh yeah, Kickstarter, just doing all that stuff is a job in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like a full-time job.
Yeah, just making the book is more than what people think it is. Most fans just think that it's just drawing the book and then saying to press. No, there's a lot that goes into production of a book, and then when you get into doing crowdfunding, you're now effectively handling the process of marketing, the process of production, the process of distribution, all on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So, as David says, it's exhausting.
yeah. I mean, there's a whole pre-press thing that people don't even realize goes on. It's just there's a lot that goes into a comic book.
Yep. So let's go ahead and
when people ask, how much is it? How much does it cost to produce, say, like a Batman comic? And they come up with a number, and people are like, "There's no way it costs that much." I'm like, "Yeah, it does."
Yeah. Well, they don't even know what you're talking about entirely, because most people think, well, okay, it costs this much for the creative team and this much for an editor. And I'm like, no, you've forgotten all these other people in the in-between over behind the scenes that are doing all the production work. Mm-hmm. Then you've forgotten all the actual cost of the printing and the shipping. And then you got your distributors that are going to have their own cut of it.
Mm-hmm.
That pay for, add into the cost of production to cover that. And then you got to make sure that the retailer is going to get something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they order it. So, that's why a lot of these books, even through Diamond, are at the $4.99 to $6.99 when they probably should be like $2.50.
Right. And the profit margin is so razor thin. It's crazy.
It is. Let's see. We got the Elf with No Name next.
Oh, gee, Santa.
And
that kind of elf. Okay, all right.
The elf faces off against the lucha dwarves in Dwarfwood as dragons have finally breached the shores of Zodias. The elf in black arrives. The elf in black, what is this, Johnny Elf Cash?
Welcome to the Kickstarter campaign for the Elf with No Name 1 through 3. I just wanted to go over all the rewards and stuff with you guys. So there's a couple covers this time. We have Max Pinelli's A cover, which if you get the one that says physical Elf with No Name number 3, you'll get that cover. If you go with the variant cover, you'll get Conrad's painted cover, which is awesome. It's a elf in black, just looking badass with her sword and everything like that. And then if you're into sketch covers, that'll be as an add-on. So it's not one of the reward tiers. It's just you pick any physical reward you want, and the sketch cover will be there as an add-on. Same thing with the name on the thank you page. If you want your name on the thank you page, just go to the add-on section. And that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, just hit me up. All the Magic Powder issues are available as catch-up tiers or as add-ons. So you have Elf with No Name 2 or you have Elf with No Name 1, but you need number 3 and one of the other ones. Those are also available as add-ons, so you don't have to get the whole tier, stuff like that. We have some cameos as always. You can be a background character or a speaking character. And some people, they like to get their pet in, some people like to draw themselves in, some people like to have their spouse drawn in, whatever. So that's up to you. You guys let us know, and we'll have Jeff Fulsham draw you into the issue number 4. Because issue number 3 is already ready, like I said. So you won't be in this issue, you'll be in the next issue. So it's kind of my way of hooking you guys for the rest of the series, stuff like that. So anyway, thanks for checking out the campaign. I hope you're back, and see you next time.
Sorry about that. My mouse is being fuzzy.
That's all right. And just another video tip here. Like, if you're doing a Kickstarter, don't do a video like that. Nobody, unless you look like Brad Pitt or you're a big name, nobody wants to see your face on a video talking. Show the art.
Right. And here's some of the art. And there's the cover by Conrad Keeley, which looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, fantastic.
And there's your blank cover, of course. And
the interior art is decent.
Yeah. I think that, again, too much color similarity. The palette's too. I understand it's at nighttime.
The palette's very odd to me, but I kind of get it.
No, I get it. I'm just, it's too one-dimensional though in color palette,
Right.
And it's one thing if you're going to do things at night time. There we go. But not every character should have that color of blue jacket, and like they're all. But every one of them has a different color hat.
Right.
Yeah, it looks kind of weird, to me that way.
And apparently, the bartender is Moe from The Simpsons.
Yeah. I don't know. It just sounded really cool. I thought we'd take a look at it. It doesn't look that bad.
It doesn't, but the bizarre color scheme is taking away from the art.
Yeah. $25 for 3 issues. It's not bad for what people charge on Kickstarters. It's $5 for the digital and $10 for the individual issue. So you're basically saving $2 if you get all 3, if you haven't already got them. You can get it for $12 for digital at the price. $15 for the variant cover. Okay.
Which I think everybody's going to be wanting that cover.
Yeah. $20 for both covers. Your Magic Powder, which is the first, that's a digital catch-up. Physical catch-up. You get 6 issues. You get 9 issues for $50. The physical copies of all 3 issues of Elf No Name and the 6 issues of the Magic Powder. So that should probably be your best bet if you haven't already paid. If you haven't already got them. That's not a bad price because now you're getting books for like $5.
Right.
So that's not too bad. Being a background character for 120, not that important to me. I mean, I can understand why it sounds cool, but it's not even going to look like you. Look at the art style.
Right.
So being a speaking character, 220, I think it's a little bit pricey for that. But okay. They want 5,555 for fully funded and stretch goals. And 5,000 is not bad, but what is your stretch goal and what's your print run goal? See, that's what I think a lot of these people have to tell you when they're doing their price setting for what their campaign goals are.
Right. It makes it sound like this isn't a fully formed campaign. Like they haven't thought everything out.
Yeah, which is kind of weird given how much books they've already done.
Right. Yeah. Not every book ends up being professional level. Yep.
But I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Let's go ahead and get back to the top here on this one. And share the link on that one. This is Elf with No Name. Again, it's got a month to go, so it's got plenty of time to reach its potential audience. I just, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, this one just started, so it's definitely got time.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Have you ever seen Dose before?
Dose,
DOSE, with an exclamation point.
No.
Okay. It's a weird comic. I've gotten a few of them. This is issue 6 that they're talking about. And they got $1,750 goal, 632 with 24 days to goal. This is the Multiverse's favorite cyberpunk meta drug kaiju sex ultraviolence comic. And that's a good description. There's the cover. Definitely a mature reader's book.
Yeah, this looks like it's harkening back to the old underground, the old 60s underground comics.
Yes. When we last met Medicate and the Screwworm, they had been captured, held against their will, and about to be injected with the form-altering drug variable by the villainous cult leader, Highest Being. Will the Screwworm and Medicate be transformed against their wills into kaiju forever? Learn the fate of our wayward heroes in this 32-page pulse-pounding to our first story arc. Should be pulse-pounding finale to our first story arc, in which secrets will be revealed, lies will be transmorgified, and the very balance of power within the criminal underworld of Dose will be irrevocably altered. We poured our hearts and souls into this one, so if you like weird shit, then Dose is the comic for you, and it's definitely a weird book. Oh, man. 10% ready to go to the printers. You can get a t-shirt. Where's the beef? Your Gooby Man Foodie, the Snort one, which I'm not going to get, that's for sure.
Come on, you don't want to wear that?
No. John Gebby is a really good artist. I think I've only got the first 3 issues of this, unfortunately. But so I'm missing a lot of stuff. But on this, I got to see what they got for support to get the rest of it before I order it. But yeah, quite a bit of stuff going on there. Let's see what they want. $10 for the book. Well, it was like $5 or $8 through Diamond, so $10 through Kickstarter is not that bad. Cover B, okay. You can get both covers A and B. Your T-shirts are like $30 each. Sounds about right. Unfortunately, they only go to XX.
For as crazy as this comic book seems, like the panel layout is very like utilitarian.
Yeah.
Like there's no crazy panel layouts, as David would say. So many medium and long shots.
Yeah. That's true. Well, no, I mean, they got some pretty close.
They have some, yeah, but yeah. It's just the panel layout is very
straightforward.
Yes.
Okay. So in other words, you can get all 6 issues. Okay. You can get a kaiju sketch for $60. That's not bad. Okay.
Yeah, anytime you can get original art for $60, that's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I need to find out if I can get they're selling all the variants and all the back, but it's not that I've been sleeping on it. I just didn't know they were out, Yeah, I'll have to check and see which ones I still have in my collection to see what I need to buy before I back this, but there's plenty of time to back it. So it has been a wild book, though. Let me go ahead and alrighty.
All right, and if you like crazy shit and kaijus and sex, ultraviolence, and comics, yeah, back this.
Yeah, well, like I said, it was just different when I first got it. It was like when I first started reading this, it was like, what if you took John Constantine and turned it up to 11 with kaiju? I was like, okay then.
Right, this is the comic book for you.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like, that's an interesting one. I'll go ahead and try that when I saw it online in the catalog. So let me go ahead and there. Okay, we got one more, I think. Unless where's Dave's? Dave's got one going on right now, doesn't he?
No, not that I'm aware of.
I could have sworn one was still going. I could be mistaken. But in the meantime,
I don't think so, unless there's still something going on with the spinner racks.
Well, no, I was thinking, oh shoot, the one with the dinosaurs.
Oh, the Thunder Source.
Yeah, Thunder Source. Is that still going?
He got the books back and everything, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't think the Kickstarter is still going.
Okay. And my last one for the night is Dino Knights Once and Future Night.
Another dinosaur book.
Yes, that's probably the reason why I was like, wait a minute. I know. I was like, this isn't Dave's. Where's Dave's? That's part of what made me think of that. 36 hours left to go. It's past its goal. It's got over $6,000 back for 165 backers. It's got 36 hours left to go. Let's see what it is.
You better believe that, yo.
Dino Knight, back from the end of time. Dino Knight, the movie waiting in line. Dino Knight, critical role. Dino Knight, ultra combo. We fight by the code of the round tables, both past and our future. With time travel, it's totally tubular. Saving the universe.
Dino Knights is the epic story of 4 dino hatchlings from the far future, cast back in time to save all life on Earth. Time travel, wacky science fiction, Arthurian fantasy, and radical action. My name is Zach Chapman, and I'm the writer and letterer for Dino Knights. I'm the creator of various comic series, all of which you can find previews at the bottom of the campaign page. There's over 80 pages worth of digital comics available as free samples, so go check those out. This Kickstarter is to fund the print run for the first 2 issues of Dino Knights. Each has a main cover and a variant, and issue 1 has a con exclusive as well. Each cover will also have a metal variant, and those are going to be in the add-on section. Now, these are not foil or holographic covers. They're fully functioning metal covers. Here's the sample from one of my previous comics, A Haunting on Mars. This is issue 4. These are virgin covers, so they don't have the logos. They're sheet metal, like a steel Blu-ray case. So this is kind of what they look like. And they function. They're fully readable. And you can grab those in the add-ons. Outside of the physical rewards, you can get the 2 first issues as digital, but there's also 2 digital subscriptions available. So if you're backing digital, you can grab the first 2 issues for $10, or you can go all out and get a subscription to the first 6 issues, which will be released later this year on Kickstarter. Depending on what level you're backing, you could walk away from this Kickstarter with close to 600 pages worth of sequential comics. So go check out those various tiers and add-ons, and thank you so much for checking out our Kickstarter. I hope you join the Dino Knights journey.
Let's go, Dino Knights!
Obviously, they were influenced by turtles.
Right? and hey, I say, get the metal cover for this book because you can either read it like a comic book or you can slit some puto's throat with it, motherfucker.
Okay. David replied, I only have after Kickstarter orders going and Thunder Swords is over for now. So, okay. So still go check out how to get those after Kickstarter books. Again, Joey is on there saying another Dino book, laughing.
Yeah, but it's metal, man.
Yeah, it's Dino Knights.
It's Dino Knights.
Yeah, Dino Knight.
Right? Yeah.
Right. No, I mean, let's see what he's charging. I mean, obviously anybody likes the Turtles, Biker Mice from Mars. This would be something that John would love if he was around.
Right, yeah.
But let's see. To get the full thing, it's $39 for digital for all 6 issues. Digital now is $10. The Squire bundle for the first 2 is $20, which isn't bad.
No, not at all.
The Night bundle gets you 4 floppies and 2 posters. That's variants. You get Wizard bundle. There's a trade for House of Blood, which is a previous book of his. The All Access sub gets you all the digital comics for everything that they've done, which is Spell Slinger, House of Blood, Dino Knights, and I can't remember what the third one was, but Haunting on Mars, that's what it is. So Kaiju Blues, there's quite a few other stuff. You also get Dino Knights 3 through 6. So pretty cool stuff there.
Yeah, it's a great package.
Yeah. If you go for the physical rewards, you get Dino Knights 1 and 2, plus the variant covers, House of Blood Volume 1, and a complete Haunting of Mars series, which is over 250 pages of comics for $100, which is, again, not a bad deal.
Not at all.
So I'm not, you know,
And the art on this is very pleasing to the eyes.
yeah.
I'm digging it.
We're gonna kill him, and then this little guy shows up. I like this. Here's Earth with these two giant, like, rockets. I mean, you know.
Robots versus dinosaurs.
Yep. They're playing D&D.
Yep. Yeah, this looks like a really fun book.
Yeah. And they give you a timeline of the history too, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Archie, Percy. I guess it's pronounced Ave.
Or Ava.
Ava. Okay.
Or AV, whatever the hell. Yeah.
And Vance. Okay.
15 million Scoville hot sauce for breakfast.
Right. Yeah, this looks cool. So let's go ahead and copy that one. And I've already got it saved, so I don't have to put it on mine. There's the link to that one.
All right. Very cool. Oh, we got some good picks tonight.
Well, thank you. I try.
Yes. Very, very good picks.
Okay. Speaking of more picks, what did I get this week? I got some stuff in the mail. I don't know what I got.
What's in the box, man? What's in the box?
Well, the first box is from King Philip Comics, Charlie McFarlane, out of Kentucky. And it's Pistol Shrimp. What is Pistol Shrimp? We're going to find out here. One through three. Looks like a Western with a shrimp gunslinger.
Gunslinging water bug.
Yeah. Looks kind of cool there. Let's see what we got for issue 2 cover. Well, that's interesting. The guns are all looking like the era that they're coming from.
Yeah, I'm digging the art.
Yeah. I can't read the name of the. Oh, okay. Morocco from 2024. Okay. Interesting. Unfortunately, the names are a little bit dark.
Tiny.
Well, without the right lighting on them, I couldn't read it. That was the main thing.
Right.
Oh yes, we have to have the sexy mermaid.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. if you can't have a sexy fish on your cover, man, you don't. What's the point?
Yes, you got your swordfish gunslinger. This looks cool. All right, I'm gonna look forward to reading this and giving a review on that. Let's see what the other one is. Now the other one's wrapped up really well. Got tape all over the place. As you can kind of, it's like wrapped everywhere. Let's see. This comes from Jason Horn out of Nashville, Tennessee. Let's see what he has sent me. This X-Acto blade's going to be worn out. I'm trying to get through this. Woo! Okay, I got that part. Oh, man, and people think I pack mine ridiculously.
Your care package to me was incredibly well packaged. So
Yeah, but it wasn't like impossible to open.
no, it wasn't. It was just very well. It was very well layered, very well thought out.
There we go. All right, we got a purple or pink protector sheet. Let's see what we got here. Kind of cool protector sheet there. The color. Oh, okay. This is
See, Lewis orders so much that sometimes he gets boxes in and he has no idea what's in them.
That's about it. I don't remember who's who and what's what. This is Settle. An alien western.
Okay. All right.
Science fiction western thing going on there. $20. It's there you go. Graphic novel about coping with grief by discovering a found family in the most unexpected place among robots. It's autographed on the inside. Should look pretty good.
Yeah, looks really nice. I'm digging that art.
I want to see if they have any, shall we say, wild layouts. Everything's pretty straightforward, pretty much your standard 5-6 panel layouts. But, I mean, there's different distances and close-ups and stuff like that. So,
right.
Should be an interesting read. There we go again with something kind of different.
Yeah, looks like a cool little book.
Yeah, so that'll be fun to read as well. I don't know if I'm going to get all this stuff read for Thursday, but those were fun to find. I also finally got my Adam the Beginning Volume 11. Only I had to get it through Amazon instead of my local comic shop because my local comic shop was getting kind of stymied by the distributors.
Right.
So,
yes, it's Raven's wonderful wall of what am I going to get this week?
yeah. Well, at least I'm getting something. What do you got?
Hey, my wife brings me comic books, so
yeah. It's like, yeah, we couldn't sell this at the Goodwill store, so here, Chris.
Sometimes there's, why she started buying me comic books. You're getting me the comics from the store, is because she's like, I was gonna get this for you, and someone else just walked out one of the people at the shop, the workers at the shop, just walked out the door with it. I said, "What was it?" She goes, "I don't know, it was a bunch of really, really old Superman comics." I'm like, "What?" Like, how old? I don't know. I couldn't tell, but they were really, really old. I'm like, no. So ever since then, I'm like, if you see a comic, grab it. I don't think so.
No, they probably don't.
No, they don't.
So it is what it is. So, but yeah, let's get rid of that. So did we do well this week? Did we cover enough this week, you think?
I think we did, yeah. I think it was, yeah.
Okay.
Had a lot of good picks.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the original care package was like foodstuffs for Army surplus, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, so I mean, I wasn't sending him food, Dave, but I was sending him clothes and comics. He needed clothes.
It's the geek care package.
I mean, it was like I was tired of seeing him in all black. In fact, the shirt he's wearing is one of the shirts I got him.
Yes, this shirt. And it kind of faded a little bit in the wash, but it's still orange.
Yeah. So yeah. As long as it's still orange, right?
It is still orange. Well, it kind of looks yellow on the camera.
It looks orange to me, but
yeah.
Sooner or later, it's going to go plain white and it'll fade out.
Right, yeah.
But we'll see. But anyway, Thursday, we'll have 2 episodes. I don't know. In the afternoon, I'm probably going to do a live draw, and then we'll have our reviews. We're not going to have Friday night movie talk this week because it's Friday, July 4th, and people are going to be out celebrating that. And I'm going to have way too much noise going on with fireworks here to have a podcast.
Right. Same here. All the yahoos.
Yeah. So we're going to skip that this week. Next week, Monday, we'll finally get back to Adam the Beginning and finishing up the run up to date. Hopefully we'll hear back from Kelly Jones by then.
Hopefully, yeah. Kelly said he would be more than happy to come on the show, so we're really excited to talk to him. And
then last but not least, this news breaking in. What is it, Chris?
And in other news, our co-host John has finally passed the Great Rock of Gibraltar.
Yeah. So he'll hopefully be ready to be back in full swing next week.
So yeah, finally passed his kidney stone, so he's doing better. And hopefully he'll be able to come back soon. So
yeah, we're hoping he'll be back next week. And so until then, we'll see you guys on Thursday for the live draw and the reviews.
David, the early packages were U.S. Army surplus 10-in-1 food parcels.
Yep.
The kids probably wonder what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah.
No. I knew. I was pretty sure I knew what you were talking about, but I had to make sure. I had to go look it up, make sure.
And I forgot to mention that this Saturday on Glass House Throwing Stones, we have Brian Haberlin.
Oh yes, colorist Brian Haberlin.
Yes, colorist and out of left field, like amazing fine art painter.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fine art pieces that this man has been doing is just mind blowing. So I'm really excited to talk to him about that. So that's going to be this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So we got some really cool things coming up.
Yes, we do. So if you want to reach out to me on social media, Facebook, Lewis.BrightRaven, at the Muskrat channel at LewisBrightRave2. You can see my artwork at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You can see Chris's art at deviantart.com/FatBoy73. You've been watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven exclusively on YouTube. For email, reach me at quothravenlbr72@gmail.com. If you can't reach me there, try LewisBrightRaven at yahoo.com. And if you want to reach Chris, it's ghthrowingstones@gmail.com. And if you want to have your artwork reviewed for portfolio, send it to that address or to what's the other one?
David Kempe@gmail.com.
Yep. So there you go. And we'll see you guys on Thursday. Thanks for watching. As always, Quoth the Raven.
Nevermore.